MC's boss wakes him up, and he thanks MC for staying overtime. Meanwhile, MC was thinking to himself that he intended to rest his eyes for a bit, but somehow ended up sleeping. He then goes on by saying that he can finish the project before the deadline if he keeps doing overtime work. To which his boss happily replies that he got a call from the last company, they finished the project, and they want some new changes to the project, which shocked the MC. His boss says he knows it's in trouble for MC, but his is a type of guy that can't say no. So he accepted that work, but before MC could say anything, his boss left the place. Afterwards, MC gets back to his home. After reaching his home, he went straight to his bed because he was really tired. Afterwards, his alarm rings, while thinking he have to do this routine forever until he dies. He gets ready to go to the company, and when he tries to leave his house, it was a white void rather than a road, which shocked him. So he tries to leave and the door was gone. As a result, he stands there confused, and he asks for someone to explain his current situation. All of a sudden, he hears a voice saying he got a skill named a well-informed man, which shocked him, and he goes on by saying he doesn't understand what's going on, so he just wants to confirm what's going on in here. As a result, he hears a voice saying that he got a new skill called recognition. In the end, he confusingly asks that he wants to get information about present situation. As a result, he gets another skill. Afterwards, the voice starts to explain that it is just an interface which will help him to get to the other side. And then before he could say he have work to do, it starts to teleport MC. After a while, he wakes up in a forest. And after walking for a while, he was whining about he is going to be late to his work. Right when he thought he got out of the forest wasn't ended, and this made him to get frustrated. Afterwards, he remembers the voice saying it's going to send him to the other side, so he confirms that he might not be in Japan. He then goes on by analyzing the situation. After realizing his current position, he gives up thinking that he is screwed. And then he realizes if it was his grandpa, he'd be able to survive. He then gets a flashback where he is telling to his grandfather that the kids in his class said killing animals is cruel, to which his grandfather replies with a serious expression that he should remember one thing. He then suddenly gets happy while saying the wild boar meat is really delicious. After remembering it, he started to drool. In the end, he decides to find some food by using the tools from the bag he have. All of a sudden, he sees a snake. After seeing it, he says he want to know if that snake is edible. Suddenly, his skill recognition works, which spawns the details board in front of him, which shocked MC. He then started to read it, and he realizes that snake's head is the only thing that's poison, so he should cut it off and eat it. As a result, he gets really happy because he understands the info, and he was just standing there, and he suddenly thinks that he knows about the snake, but now what? All of a sudden, he hits the snake in the head with a stick, and it suddenly spits poison on him, which he dodges, and he got shocked since it's spitting the poison rather than biting. After a while, he somehow killed the snake, and he started to hear a voice saying he got a skill named acquisition. And after hearing everything, he was just staring silently, and he decides to leave it for later. After a while, he successfully cooked the snake, and he was happy because he always carry a lighter even after quieting smoke. He then thinks it's nostalgic where he used to eat eel with his grandfather. After seeing it crispy brown, he decides to eat it. And then he realizes it's really tasty. And he started to analyze its taste by saying it was really sweet in the middle with a crunchy surface. In the end, he thanks the snake for being really delicious. Afterwards, he gets ready to search for water. And after finding a river, he started to walk alongside of it to get the fresh source, but it took him 4 hours. And he finally finds a footprint of some animals. As a result, he decides to follow the footprints. In the end, he finds the fresh source of water. After filling the water, he sees a small chicken, which made him to blush, and he decides to secure food for future. And he decides to make trap. So to set a trap, he needs a tree to set it. He then gets shocked, since there was already a trap that someone had set, which only made him to get happy because he might encounter an intelligent life near him. But then his happiness fades after realizing he might even encounter some bad orcs. After a while, he makes a stone axe and a stone spear. And he thanks the skill he got since it helped him to perfectly create this stone tools. Afterwards, he started to track all the traps set in place. In the end, he sees something. And there was a boar, and in front of it, A girl was standing, who is directly aiming at the boar. In the end, MC realizes that trap must be from a girl. She then shoots the arrow at the boar, and it didn't do damage on the boar, which made the MC to realize it's because the bow was really small to damage the boar's head. He then gets shocked, since she is now holding an axe in her hands, to which he thinks if the boar attacks her with its tongues, she will have zero chance of survival. He then gets his hopes up by thinking she might be a master of axe, and after seeing her swing it, he realizes she got no skill. Afterwards, the boar attacks her, and this made her axe to fly away. Before she could react, boar goes in for the attack. An MC comes in and he attacks its legs. As a result, he made it to fall down. Also, his axe was broken from that attack, so takes his spear while telling that girl to get down. But then the boar gets up and it started to attack MC. Meanwhile, she was staring at him silently. And MC starts to doubt whether if he can kill it with the stone axe. In the end, he uses it to stab its eyes, which killed the boar. After seeing it, MC get happy since he was able to kill it with ease. Suddenly he gets more skills, but MC was just happy that he killed it. Finally, he notices that girl and he asks to her if she is alright while thinking, if she understands him or not. And to show her he is not hostile towards her, he puts down his weapons and he lifts his hands in the air. While wondering her face looks cute, she then starts to shake. And then she bows down and she asks him to take care of her, which confuses the MC. And he goes on by asking that he is glad that she is safe and also he's glad she could understand Japanese. But she has no clue on what is Japanese. As a result, he asks her that he got lost in this forest and doesn't know the way out. She then says she is a hunter and she goes on by inviting him to her village by calling him a husband, to which she says his name, and he goes on by asking to her on what does she mean by husband, which made her get blushed, and she says it's because he just confessed his love to her. She then goes on by explaining to him that when he sat down by dropping his weapons to show his defenseless part, it's actually a highest form of marriage proposal you could ever give to anyone. And then she tells her name by accepting his marriage proposal. Meanwhile, MC was confused and he didn't know what to say, but she was saying that they are a couple. Afterwards, he started to cook the snakes left over. He then calls her and says the cooking is finished. Meanwhile, she is also doing something with her meat storage. And after taking a bite, she started blush since it was really tasty. Afterwards, she asks to him if he used that medicinal plants to cook it, to which he replies it's all because of the salt she is carrying with her. After, while happily enjoying his meal, he decides to think of everything that happened to him until now, which was he got teleported into this world, and due to some serious events, he saved Elizabeth. Afterwards, he asks her on what are they going to do with the boar's remains, to which she says they should first drain its blood first. And to his surprise, she easily lifts the boar, and goes on by wondering why she got this superhuman strength. And then something pops up and it says it's her skill, called Herculean Strength. After reading it, MC realizes that he is in another world where there is magic exists. MC then thinks he was surprised at first, but now that's not a huge problem for him. And the biggest problem he needs to settle quickly is, but then she asks him if something is in her face, because MC was keep on staring at her, to which he quickly apologizes to her for staring. But then she tells the MC to stare at her as much as he wants. And then with a blushing face she explains it's because they are now a married couples. But this just shocked MC. After a while she gets ready to get back to their village, which is in 1 kilometer long. But MC calls her name and says he is a 35-year-old, also a stranger for her, even still if she is willing to marry him. To which she says that she thought he was a 25-year-old since he looks really young. She then says she is 15 years old who is also an adult, so there should be no problem with their marriage. But after hearing her real age, he once again confirms it to her, but she still says that's right. She is 15 and everyone always starts from a stranger, so they should build their relationship from here onwards. But after hearing her real age, MC thought to himself it's a crime. But then she suddenly says he proposed to her, and that's why it's okay to marry him, which made MC to get speechless. After a while they arrived at the village, and MC thoughts it looks exactly like village he would usually see from the RPG game, but she tells to him that he saved her life, and on top of that he is an invaluable hunter, which will make her father happy. In the end, MC started feel exhausted, but he was just carrying 20 kilograms. Meanwhile, she has no sign of exhaustion, even though she is carrying 60 kilograms. Afterwards, MC thought to himself that he couldn't able to tell her the proposal was a misunderstanding, but still she is just 15 years old. So in other words, he proposed to a girl that is 20 years younger than him. She then calls his name by adding sama in the end, and he goes on by asking her to call normally like a friend. But this made her to get happy, since now it looks like their relationship has gotten close. In the end, MC was shocked since he got more further away from explaining that it was just a misunderstanding. Afterwards, arriving to her home, her father asks her on how did the trap worked. But she just says she have someone that she wants to introduce to her dad, to which he asks her on who he is. As for that, she slowly explains that MC was lost in the forest, who is also her lifesaver, and his name is Akihiro, who proposed to her. Akihiro then says nice to meet you to her father. But then his father smilingly says nice to meet you. All of a sudden he started to emit some aura while inviting the MC inside, because he got some important thing to talk with him, which scared MC, and he thinks he might not return if he got inside. But after coming inside, her mother offers them a cup of tea, and she says sorry, because she could have made meals, but they don't have the ingredients. Her father then says that he understands the situation, and he even thanks the MC for saving her daughter. Also, he injured his back, so he sent his daughter today. Because of that, he will take the full responsibility. And he says isn't going for marriage feels a little premature, which annoys her. But then her father goes on by saying he doesn't hate the MC, since he is wearing some good-looking clothes, so which means he must be suitable for marrying. He then says with a serious expression that the hunting is a taboo job, to which MC thinks that he is sorry for not knowing it. But her father goes on by saying that dealing with the dead animals will get your emotions to shrink. Also, it got high death rate, and because of that it got a bad reputation. He then suddenly says he isn't trying to be against for their marriage. But this made MC to realize he is extremely against their marriage. And he comes to the realization that the father is same in Japan and here too. So he decides to go with the introducing methods. And then he quickly shouts at her father by saying he has something to talk with him alone, to which his father says that he can't propose to him because he is already married. Meanwhile, Elizabeth and her mother was looking at them silently. But then MC explains the misunderstanding to her father. While making the proposal pose, he says he didn't know about the meaning of this pose, to which her father replies he can't go for him. MC then goes on by saying Elizabeth must be in the high spirits after getting proposed, so she accepted his proposal. Otherwise, she wouldn't even look at an old man like him. But after hearing it, his father decides to collaborate with the MC to gently reject his daughter. As a result, he gets happy while saying he had a good impression on the MC, but is in regret he won't marry his daughter. And suddenly, he asks the MC to marry him, to which he rejects it. But then when he was about to open the door, he heard her saying if it's really okay for her to marry MC, which then shocked both of them. As a result, they started to eavesdrop their conversation. But then her mother says he is just a boy she met today. Is she really okay? Also, you might be in the high spirits after getting proposed. And also, I think that guy is older than he looks, so his stomach might bulge outside if he took off his clothes. But everything she said hits hard on MC. Elizabeth then tightly squeezes her hands. And she goes on by saying when she was pinned down by that monster, she thought she will die for sure, which was really scary for her. And if the MC didn't came to help her, she would have died. So being able to talk to her mother and be alive right now is all because of him. So she doesn't care if he have a bulged stomach or an old guy. He is her hero. On top of that, her hero proposed his love to her. So there is nothing more happier that can happen to her. But this made her mother to accept their marriage with a wholeheartedly. Even the MC starts to blush. All of a sudden, her father puts his hands on his shoulders by calling MC as his son. Afterwards, this shocked MC, and he asks her dad on what happened to the collaboration of rejecting his daughter. To which he replies, there is no parent that will ruin their daughter happiness. He then grabs the MC, and he started to say that he doesn't care about who he was before, and he can stay in this house as long as he wants. In the end, he comes out of the room with a bright smile in his face, while MC looks like he is already half dead. But after seeing MC, she started to blush. Meanwhile, he isn't in the position to do anything. Afterwards, her mother takes him to bedroom and lets him to take rest. In the end, he slept there for a night. At the next day, MC has a six-pack, and suddenly his stomach bulged outside. This made him to realize he can only put it inside for 30 seconds. Even though he spent running around yesterday, he couldn't able to see any difference. All of a sudden, her mother comes in, and she leaves his change of clothes, which used to be her husband's brother clothes. But after seeing her, MC was shocked. Afterwards, MC started to live his slow life in his wife's house. And then she says the breakfast is ready. After seeing it, MC gets happy. And her mother asks him to eat as much as he wants because they got extra food. After a while, she even offers the soup that they made yesterday, since he went straight to bed without having a dinner. While drinking it, he thanks them for letting him stay in their house. To which they happily replies he don't need to hold back. His mother goes on by saying it's okay since he is now Elizabeth's husband, so which means he is like a part of their family now. She then goes on by asking him to formally start live here, to which their father says he should also make a new room for the newlyweds to stay together. To which Elizabeth replies it's too early for that. After saying it, she started to blush. Meanwhile, MC is eating the food silently. And he goes on by thinking the food was really delicious. And suddenly he realizes if he continued to live in this house, he might end up in a marriage with a 15-year-old. As a result, he slowly raises his hands by calling them and says he is not qualified to marry her if he is unemployed. And he asks them on what is the fastest way to earn money, to which her father thinks. And they arrives at the Adventure Guild. But then his father says they have to leave to do their work. After hearing it, she worryingly asks her husband to not push himself. But he just replies her to not worry because he is just going to take a sneak peek. As a result, they started to leave, and she was waving bye to him until they are in his vision. Afterwards, they have gone. MC gets inside the Adventure Guild. But then he got shocked since it looks exactly like fantasy RPG game. He then says to the receptionist that it's his first time registration. She asks him to fill out the form, to which he fills it out using Japanese. But to his surprise, she had no trouble reading it. And then something pops up saying everything MC writes gets auto-translated. Afterwards, she asks him to poke his index finger with this needle to get a drop of blood. And then when he dropped it, the card started to float. She then gives him that card by saying that's his guild card, which also acts as an identity card. Afterwards, she started to say that this card also works as in database storage, so he shouldn't lose it. She then goes on by introducing him the card reader machine, which is produced by the god of magic, so he shouldn't worry about scams. Also, it runs by absorbing magic power from the atmosphere. She then goes on by saying that this card will send pings straight to his soul, which confuses MC because it didn't sound like a fantasy world. But then she says it will send a notification to this machine if his soul gets disconnected. Also, this service is free, so he can use it to convey his last will to his loved ones. To which MC replies he will try to finish the job without using that service. Afterwards, she explains about the rank system, but MC was in the last rank. In the end, she finishes her explanation after telling him the place where he can get quests from. In the MC got really tired since the explanation was really long. Afterwards, he gets really happy since he is now an adventurer. He then gets motivated, and while thinking he's going to get his first job. Afterwards, in the north side forest of the village, MC is picking something from the ground, and it was picking grass, but he wasn't happy about it. Like and subscribe, and part 2 will be released soon. More spicy things are about to happen. So please like the video. Thank you, bye-bye.